because I didn't know what it was capable of. So I was like, all right, well, make me an agent that's just going to send me a Slack message every morning with my LinkedIn statistics from the previous day. Like, tell me how many followers I gained and how many impressions I gained. And so that was the prompt. It was like one sentence. And so then about 5 minutes, it built this agent. And it's funny because it basically talks you through the process of what it's doing.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj here with Corey, Kate, and Keith. We are actually in Chicago. We just wrapped up the Wholesale Network Mastermind Retreat. So I'm actually going to throw it over to Kate real quick. If you just kind of want to let the people know everything we did on this retreat, and then we'll get into some more specifics of what we experienced.
For sure. So we spent the last few days in Chicago. We had like 13 of us kind of fly in, take the train, drive, and we did a tour of MDW7, so the Chicago Amazon Warehouse Fulfillment Center. It was like an hour tour. It was unreal. We'll get into that. And then we did a Cubs game, and we all went to the baseball game, beer, hot dogs, the whole thing. Really, really good. And we rented an Airbnb. So we've got a 6-bedroom Airbnb with everybody in here. So we got to hang out and vibe, some movies, some chat. We did a workshop, so we can chat about that a little bit. And yeah, it's just been a really great kind of 3 days long weekend that we've had here.
Awesome. So I want to talk about the Fulfillment Center tour first, because that, blew my mind. That was my first time doing one. Corey, I know you've done one before. Keith, that was your first time going through the Fulfillment Center tour.
Oh, I actually didn't make it. I personally didn't make the tour.
Right. You weren't there with us. I forgot about that. Okay. But yeah, that was crazy. And maybe I'll even throw some clips up. I might even throw some clips up on the screen just of like what inside that looked like. But what my big takeaway was from the Fulfillment Center tour was FBA is so much more than just like you send your stuff to Amazon and it just kind of makes its way to customers. Like the back end side of that is wild. And for me, like I'm an operations guy, so a well-oiled machine is just so satisfying. And that was beyond a well-oiled machine. It was like 1 million packages a day, 20 million different products. I don't even know how many different robots, how many different employees.
Hundreds of robots.
The way they had it set up was like so dialed. And there were even certain sections where they're like, yeah, we can't show you how to do that. Because they're like, if someone takes a picture, this is just like our trade secret that we don't want to get out.
One of the ones that they said, I think when somebody asked, they're like, well, what happens when customers order multiple different products? Like, how do you, you asked, because we saw a guy, he was packing boxes with orders. And you were like, well, what happens when a customer orders multiple of the same products? Like, how do you pack those? And she was like, oh, we can't show you that. And it's just weird that was like that process, which doesn't sound like it'd be a huge secret. Like that's one of their big proprietary processes. She's like, yeah, that's like a trade secret. We can't show you that. And I was like, that's weird, but I'm sure it's some crazy efficient process that probably, their competitors would love to copy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like the robots and the automation that they had, excuse me. And Corey had said it's like an F1 like race car pit. And it honestly was. Like it was these little robots driving around completely autonomous and like this big fenced off area. And they were carrying towers of products. And there were like hundreds of them. And so you have kind of the people on the one side doing the pick and pack, and all of that is like the operations are dialed right in, like Kaj said. And then the other side is this pit crew, like automated pit crew moving around their kind of yellow towers full of product. And it doesn't make sense when you're just kind of like looking at it. And then when they start explaining the process, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that makes sense. And it's just, I kept thinking, who designed this? Like who came up with this in their head that they were like, okay, we're going to take all these random products and put them in here. And they use QR codes to track on the floor where the robots go, and in the like spaces, the cubbies in these towers, essentially where all those products go. It's insane. Like it actually is way crazier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I think the most impressive stat for me was she said that the average time from when a customer places the order to when it is on the delivery dock ready for their drivers to pick it up and deliver it was 90 minutes. So in 90 minutes or less, the order comes in, the picker picks the product, they package it, and it's on the dock ready to be shipped. And I mean, in 90 minutes, 1 million units a day. She said the whole warehouse holds, I think, 20 million different products. That's just absolutely insane. And one thing that I thought was interesting too, when I posted about it on LinkedIn and somebody commented, they were like, well, you should see some of the older fulfillment centers that don't have nearly as many robots. She's like, it's just hundreds of warehouse workers running around. So I think the fulfillment center that we saw was one of the more automated ones. It's not one of the newer ones because I think it's 7 or 8 years old, but they still have fulfillment centers that are farther behind in terms of automation and robotics. But I think we saw one that is a little more advanced, which was really cool.
Yeah, really dope. And it also gave me an appreciation of FBA because obviously as sellers, there's so many problems we experience with whether it's reimbursements or stuff not checking in quick enough, or, you know, all those things. We like always expect everything to work perfectly because it's kind of like, all right, you just send it and then you would just expect that what we send in is going to be their top priority at all times. But also just gave me like a deeper level of appreciation for how incredible like the Fulfilled by Amazon system actually is, and an understanding of why customers trust that platform so much and are willing to spend money. So it also like took me back a few years to like when I first started selling on Amazon. It's like, okay, like this is one of the reasons why I still do that. And it's a really cool opportunity.
I wonder with the news that they're not going to be doing the FinSKU labels anymore for sellers. Like that's what January, they said they're not going to label anymore. I wonder how that's going to impact their numbers and their like efficiency there.
It's going to go way up.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, because that's a waste of time for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly is. Yeah, we didn't see that part of the inbound. We saw some of the inbound process, but not that. But like, yeah, that's going to be wild.
And my guess is, I don't have the stats on this to back this up. My guess is just that most sellers have stopped using that service. Mm-hmm. Either if it's a brand them selling themselves, they're just using their own barcode.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, I mean, a lot of third-party sellers will use 3PLs. I mean, obviously, like, I mean, I know you send stuff directly, and so it's like people do still use it, but it's probably something where the volume that they have coming in, it's not worth it to have a whole system set up for it, would be my guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did our Amazon fulfillment tour, which was unreal. So cool. We've got pictures and we can put some clips up that we've got, a couple little videos. And then what did we do next? Was it the ball game?
No, that was yesterday. So we,
blur.
what did we do at the rest of that day?
We did.
Oh, did we go to dinner?
Center tour, basically into the Airbnb and then straight to dinner. So yeah, we went out to eat in Wrigleyville, which is where the Cubs. So the Cubs play at Wrigley Field. And the neighborhood that Wrigley Field is in is called Wrigleyville. And we just went out to dinner that Friday night and it was fun. We just kind of hung out around Wrigleyville, went to dinner, went to a bar down the street right after, and just kind of chilled out. And because it was a smaller group, I like doing these events in smaller groups because I feel like it's a lot more intimate. I've done these events or been a part of events where it's like 20, 25, 30 people. And those are great, but you don't necessarily get FaceTime with everybody in those groups is what I found. So when you have anywhere from, I'd say 10 to at most 15 people, I think that's where the magic happens because really everybody is able to connect with everybody else. And it's not like you're having to almost like speed date, right? And try to meet as many people as you can. And because most everybody was online friends, right? Coming into this trip, it was just so much easier for people to meld in person after the fact because it's like, hey, we've already been talking in Discord or on Zoom every week. And now we get the chance to kind of just solidify that relationship face to face.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The in-person piece. So a couple of things that I love, the renting the Airbnb. We did this one year at MSC and we literally rented a mansion and put everybody in it. And it was my first kind of event with everybody. I guess my second one, but like jumping into an Uber with like Warner and Miles and Garrett and those guys. And I'm like, okay. Or like Reezy. I'm like, hey, Reezy, it's time to go. Like, let's go hop in the cab. You know what I mean?
Reezy, it's
like,
time to go.
I was like, do you want to go on a boat, Reezy? Like we're going on a yacht. You got to get up. He's like, I'll be right there. So like, it's so cool being able to like share space with people, especially when we're all internet friends and we're away from each other the majority of the time. So these in-person events, like the conferences are great and we love all of that, but having these kind of like mastermind retreats or group retreats are so cool. One of the other pieces that I really love is when we were planning the retreat, we talked about where we wanted to go. And Corey was like, I think Chicago, like that was top of mind for him. And so he used to live here. And we talked about one of the stories. So these guys get up and go to the gym at 8 a.m. because they're insane. And so they got up and went to the gym. And Corey, you said you walked by you used to live here for a couple of years, and you said you used to do, was it retail arbitrage or online?
No, online. So yeah, so when the gym that we go to, or the gym that we went to yesterday, is the one that I used to go to when I lived here. So I lived here from 2017 through 2019, July of 2017 through July of 2019. And the gym that we went to, it's directly across the street from the UPS store that I used to ship out my online arbitrage, basically FBA products out of that store. So when I lived here, I lived like half a mile away from that UPS store, half a mile away from that gym. And I would get online arbitrage orders delivered to my apartment. So I'd have like that bellhop, transporter, like dolly type thing. I'd go down to the package room, fill it up with all my boxes. So there'd be Kohl's boxes, Target boxes, Vitacost boxes, like 30, 40 boxes at a time sometimes. Yeah, Vitacost was my best source back in the day. And push it into the elevator, take it up to the 37th floor where I lived, prep all the products myself, box them back up, dolly them back down, and then push them half a mile down the street to that UPS store. So it was funny. We were walking into the gym and I was like, oh yeah, that's the UPS store that I basically shipped out of for like a year at that point, living in Chicago, it was nostalgic because that's like really how I started my business. And it sucked at the time too.
Chicago winters. That's the other thing you don't mention. It's Chicago in the winter. So there's snow. So you're pushing the dolly through the snow and the ice and the slush and all of that. Like
definitely.
Ugh.
And it was, at the time it really sucked, but it was cool to see it and kind of be back in the neighborhood and be back in the area that I used to live in.
Yeah, for sure. Keith, what's your overall takeaway from this trip?
Just had a good time, hang out with some friends and, talk about some business as well. It's just nice just because I think this industry can get lonely just operating out of your own, everyone's just out of their own house, it can feel, just isolated at times. I mean, definitely is. So just coming out, being part of the community is always, gets my spirits lifted up. So gets me motivated to do better. So it's always a good time. So appreciate Corey and everyone else, organizing this whole thing. It's been fun. For sure.
And you were one of the ones who went to the gym. You've been nicknamed the Hulk this weekend. You went to the gym with the guys and we're pressing 3 plates a side yesterday?
No, not quite 3 plates, but almost. But yeah, that was fun to go. I don't normally go to the gym that early, but Corey's kind of a maniac for that. But it was fun. Okay, we'll go. We'll go again. Yeah, I love going to gym. So yeah, it's always more fun when there's other people involved. So
good vibes for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. I also want to switch topics a little bit and hear just what you guys are doing that might be new in your business. Obviously, things are changing so fast with technology, with AI, but there are also a lot of things that, aren't changing that are the same. So I'm just kind of curious to hear if you guys are doing anything new in your business that's working or anything that you're experimenting on and trying to accomplish.
So, and I can start with that. So really experimenting a ton with AI and specifically with AI agents. So there's one tool that I've been using, and Keith, I was telling you about this on Friday night, but it's called string.com. And it's essentially, it's an AI agent builder where you don't have to know code. You don't have to be technical. You write a prompt just like you would in ChatGPT, but instead of in ChatGPT, it's just like giving you a text-based answer. It actually builds an agent out of your prompt. So the first example that I ever used, the first way I tested this was I just said, because I didn't know what it was capable of. So I was like, all right, well, make me an agent that's just going to send me a Slack message every morning with my LinkedIn statistics from the previous day. Like tell me how many followers I gained and how many impressions I gained. And so that was the prompt. It was like one sentence. And so then about 5 minutes, it built this agent, and it's funny because it basically talks you through the process of what it's doing. So it's telling you, it's like, well, yes, I need to configure to the LinkedIn API, and I need to configure to your Slack, and then I need to do all these things. And within 5 minutes, it was built, and then it runs a test. You can click test, and then I click test, and I open up Slack, and I had a message from Slack with my LinkedIn statistics from the day before. And so that just blew my mind because it's the first tool that I'm aware of where you can build an agent just from a prompt. So you're really only limited by your imagination as far as what you can do. So as an Amazon seller, right, you could have it analyze my Seller Central inventory report every day and send me a message at 9 a.m. of the exact products I need to replenish, right? Like that's just one example. And again, you don't need to be technical. You don't need to know how to code. Sometimes it'll run into errors, but you kind of help it troubleshoot and kind of talk it through the issues. And 9 times out of 10, it'll correct the problem and give you what you need. So that's just one of the many tools I'm experimenting with. It's crazy what it's capable of.
I'm also interested to hear, Keith, how you're using AI. For myself, I've used Cajua put together a chat GPT prompt, and essentially it's to optimize your listing, like analyze the listing, optimize it, and you're constantly putting new information in there and tweaking it.
I need to update it again.
Yeah, it's so cool. So the prompt is all there and it's available to like everyone in the wholesale network. So I've used that and kind of as my kind of gateway into AI to optimize some listings, and then through my brand registry with some of the brands I partnered with, change your listings, optimize those. And then the craziest part is I've used it to create images. So I give it the images that I have. I give it the prompt for what I want it to look like. Like one of them was like a product, and then when you take it out of the bag, it expands 3 times. So then I gave AI the prompt, like show it expanded 3 times. And what I meant was like a big bowl of the product. And instead it gave me like 3 little bowls of like the product. So it went 3 times, just not the way I intended. But then you just switch the prompt, kind of guide it where you want it to go. And it created beautiful imagery that, I mean, Amazon has its own AI imagery piece where you can like set it in a greenhouse or set it on the kitchen table, but it looks like really kind of janky, honestly. Mm-hmm. So then using ChatGPT, or I'm sure other ones are even better with the imaging, but I used that and created these great images and posted them. And I had a quote from somebody to do that, to create them. And I think it was like $400 for a hero image and the description. So, which I mean, I'm sure it's good, but if I can do it myself and I know enough about tech.
In-house.
Right. That's the thing. I'm like, if I can do it in-house or even have like my VA work on that and see what she comes up with and edit from there. And then one of the other things you guys had done, I'm pretty sure, was you create kind of an initial image, and then you can just use Fiverr and say like update this image and make it really like kind of crisp and what we want. So it's crazy the way you can use AI there. And then Keith, have you been using that in your business? Like, how do you use AI today?
I actually use AI a lot for consulting. Just working with brands, outreach, trying to better streamline the process. How do I efficiently send more emails other than like a lot of people will, have their VAs do it. That might have been the play back in the day, but nowadays you can really do anything. You can set up any type of like automation. You can make it really personalized as well. Just like, okay, this company has this many employees, or like this specific person, like you can track all that within software. So you really don't need any more employees to do even the outreach process or like follow-ups. I mean, you still will have to, if you're going the brand partnership model, you're going to want to still call in person. I know that there's been some recent tech out there with like automated AI agents, which is, in theory you could have them, call brands, but I don't think right now that's going to work. But at least the email process and anything else, like streamlining the process, like when do I follow up? What should I say, right? Like, what is this context? Like especially for someone like me who I feel like I'm not as well spoken as other sellers in the group, or business owners in general. It really helps me to have like a consultant, and I can really just like look at for example, in Corey's YouTube has like a cold calling. He like reviews someone cold calling on YouTube, right? And I just took the transcript. I'm like, hey, what are the key principles here? And I just put it into my like cloud project, and it's like, here are the basic principles of like, for example, is like ask more questions than do more asking than talking, right? You want to let you want to get the brand owner talking more. That's just an example. So it's just like, okay, now next time if I I'm looking to call this brand, I'm asking, hey, what should I say here? So it's just always like giving me a nice. It's just acting as like a consultant, which has really been helpful.
It's like having the ultimate coach. Like, that's so cool. And then you can choose kind of the materials that you want, whether it's Corey's content or Kaja's content or whoever's, and then kind of distill that into like, use these principles from this person. So it's like having them as a coach. And then what are your top couple of AI tools that you're using right now?
Right now I'm using ChatGPT and Claude. I use Gemini a little bit just to like summarize YouTube videos, that's been helpful. Other than that, let's see, AI related tools. I mean, I know a lot of tools are coming out with their own AI features. Like for example, in terms of like the outreach software, I use Apollo.io. So it's like it's a very like automated, it's kind of like seamless.ai, but they let you like configure some very complex like sequences, they call it. It's like a series of actions that you can take with a company or a person with emails or calling or even LinkedIn. It can be automated. So that's an AI tool for sure. They let you, write your own prompting. You can do all your own like prompting, AI prompting within that app, and it'll generate like really personalized messages for you if you want that.
That's super cool.
That's about it so far. I'm definitely looking into string.com and Manus AI, whatever tools that like have more different use cases. I'm always looking.
For sure.
How are you using Gemini to summarize YouTube videos? Does Gemini automatically pull a transcript too?
No, it's very easy. You just at YouTube, it's pulling the tool and then say summarize this video.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anything that's like over an hour long or 30 minutes long, okay, easy.
Will it grab a transcript too? Because I've been using a tool. This is one of my favorite ones. It's called NoteGPT.io, and you can plug in any YouTube URL, and it'll give you a transcript and a summary.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Is it paid?
Is it free?
It's free, yeah, but it's like you can only do so many per month depending on how big the video is. Okay. But I mean, I haven't had to upgrade, so.
Well, one thing that I just thought of too, so you were talking about like essentially sales coaching and getting, watching the YouTube videos where I'm giving somebody feedback on their cold call. What you could do is, so you extract it, like you use ChatGPT to extract the principles of kind of the takeaways from those calls. Well, you could take those, make a custom GPT that says, hey, these are like, you're a professional sales coach. These are all the principles that you teach or, that you keep in mind. And then if you recorded your own sales calls and then uploaded that to the custom GPT and basically said, hey, give me feedback or critique this call, then you don't have to wait on me to critique your call. Like it could do that for you. Of course, I'm happy to look at it, but I'm sure it would do a better job than I would, right? Like having essentially a custom GPT that is your sales coach, that every time you make a call, you upload that transcript or that recording, and then it just gives you tips and feedback, and then you get a lot better, a lot quicker. Somebody should build that and sell it, really.
Yeah, we could make you obsolete, Corey.
It's such a hack for learning and coaching is like going to YouTube, taking this. Honestly, I prefer taking the transcript over a summary. And that's why I like NoteGPT, because like I'll take the full transcript, and then if I have a specific project that I'm working on, then I plug the transcript as one of, like if I'm using ChatGPT, I put the transcript of that video as an attachment within the project. And then within the project instructions, I describe what each attachment is. And so for that one, I'm saying like, hey, this is a YouTube video. This is who the person is. This is that person's context. This is what they're teaching. Use that to inform how you're responding within this project. And then you can get like super tailored advice, tips, feedback, whatever you want within that specific project. And it's just such a hack for learning and making your responses more dialed. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So just pivoting back to the weekend and thinking through some of the things that we did, nerded out on AI, obviously, the whole weekend. We also did a baseball game. So we went to the Cubs game, which was super fun. I typically only do sports games for the snacks. So I had a pretzel and I had hot dog and an ice cold.
You just like expensive snacks?
Yeah, no, it was stupid expensive, but it's part of the whole gig. And had a beer there. And yeah, there were good snacks. We all got kind of seats in like the bleacher area. So it's kind of like sit wherever. And that was super fun. Have you guys done a ball game before? And have you done one in Chicago?
That was actually my first baseball game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a
minor league or major league.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm a big soccer guy. So I've gone to plenty of soccer games, so I've never gone to a baseball game.
It's a good first one to do. Yeah. When I lived here,
the stadium, I mean, like Wrigley Stadium is like pretty dope.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But that's what's funny is it's actually one of the smaller baseball stadiums. It's pretty small compared to some of the big ones. And yeah, when I lived here, we'd go to Cubs games all the time. That was probably my 8th or 9th one going to. And every time I visit Chicago, if it's during the summer, I'll go to a Cubs game. So yeah, it's a great experience, and you go for the experience too. I mean, the game was kind of boring. I think the Cubs only won. Yeah, they won, I think 1-0, and there wasn't much action. But yeah, you kind of just go for the experience. You want to sit in the bleachers because that's where all the fun is. Walk around the stadium, kind of just see what's going on, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very historic. Sure. Like it's a big old building. It's a very historical building. We did Comerica Park last weekend in Detroit and went to a game there and saw the Blue Jays play against the Tigers. And so we went, and it was a beautiful brand new stadium, but it was just a different feel. It was a little more sterile than what Wrigley was. There's just so much history, and everybody's so into it. Like the crowds, and they had t-shirt sales. Like I don't know how they even built those things on the side of the street with the t-shirts, and they're like 45 t-shirts high and like 17 across. Like it was really cool. And then the bars after that we went to, and everybody's in their gear and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing. And then how about you, Keith? Have you been before?
So that was my second ever baseball game. I actually went to my first baseball game. I think it was like a month or two ago. It was the Astros versus the Cubs, which is the Houston team. Yeah. Actually, most of my life I grew up in Cali, so I never actually knew how big baseball was until literally this year, so it's been cool.
That's awesome. I was trying to explain, there were a couple of people in our group who hadn't seen baseball before, and they were like, so what happens here? What I'm like, they try and make a run, and they run the bases, and when they bat, if somebody catches it, they're out. And I was like, out. I'm like, out like this. Anyways, there's a lot to the game, and I was like, I'm not actually here for the sport. Like, I'll tell you what I know, but if anyone hears me, they're just going to be like, no, girl, that's not how this sport works. Let me help you. So yeah, but it was pretty fun. It was fun to go with everybody.
Yeah, good vibes for sure. And how many people do we have total? Was it like what, 12 or 13?
I think 13.
Because we had a couple people like have to drop out and then someone else hopped in last minute. But we had a pretty good crew.
We picked up some extras. We picked up Warner and Ashley, and then and our friend Brian and his wife Amy came to dinner last night. So they live in Chicago.
Yeah, from the Wholesale Accelerator.
From the Wholesale Accelerator, exactly. So Brian lives in Chicago. I met him like a couple of years ago. Internet friends, same thing. And we hopped on a Zoom because I was like, the joke is, I said, I'm looking at the Wholesale Challenge and I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if this guy Corey can be trusted. Should I buy the program? So he hopped on a call with me and he's like, no, it's actually really good, and you can trust him and trust Chris Grant. So that was my first introduction to Corey, and then from there we've like worked together the last year and a bit. So that was pretty cool to like have that full circle moment with Brian last night in Chicago. So
that's dope.
Pretty cool.
Cool. All right. Well, I got to catch a flight in a little bit here. So to wrap up, let's talk about Sellers United coming up, because that's another really good conference that people should definitely go to. Just sticking, with the theme of networking. So I went for the first time last year. I know you spoke last year. Are you going to speak? You're speaking this year again? Yep. Yeah. So that was a really, really high level conference. I mean, you got guys that have, really big agencies. I mean, Pattern was there. They're one of the biggest sellers on Amazon. I forget how many millions, hundreds of millions of dollars they're doing per year. It's absolutely insane. So Sellers United, if you're able to make it, it's pretty much in New York, but right like on the New Jersey side. I believe there's something the day before, but like the main conference itself is all one day, correct?
Yeah, they do a casino night. I think it's the night before this time. So I think the conference itself is on October 16th. And then I believe they do a casino night on the 15th, which is just kind of a fun way to do like a pre-event party where you show up and you're not gambling real money, but they give you like tickets and you can just go around playing casino games. And it's just a fun way to break the ice and talk to people and network, and in a setting that's not just like we're at a restaurant or at a bar and you got to go up and talk to people. It's way easier just to sit down at the blackjack table next to somebody, and next thing you know, you're talking to like a top 50 seller, like somebody at Pattern or a big prep center owner. You never really know who you're going to run into. So that's the benefit of the casino night. And this will be this is the third year that they're hosting it. The first 2 years, it was called AMZ United. But this year they rebranded to Sellers United, which I think is smart because they're catering to not just Amazon sellers, but any marketplace sellers. So whether it's Walmart, TikTok, Amazon, eBay, they're trying to get sellers who sell on all different marketplaces to show up, which I think is smart. So this is the third year the conference is happening. This will be my third year attending and my third year speaking. So I've spoken the last 2 years, and I'll be speaking this year too. And yeah, it's by far the best reseller focused conference, because there's really only a couple of reseller focused conferences, and this is, in my opinion, the highest quality and the highest level, meaning you've got some of the biggest sellers in the world that show up for this one. So the content is top notch and the networking is as well. And yeah, anybody that's on the fence about joining should definitely show up, because one connection you make could be a 50x return on that investment. And it's cheap too. I think it's like $397 or something for the ticket. So most of us have a lot of points. You just use points on the flight and the hotel. You pay $397 for the ticket and you have a really good time and learn a ton.
Yeah, 100%. I would wonder what is the amount of revenue in sales represented on Amazon in that room.
Well, I mean, Pattern alone is $1 billion a year.
Wait, they do $1 billion?
So, yeah, because they ship 100 million units into FBA per
Holy.
year. So they're
All right, well, let's just say besides Pattern.
Besides Pattern, you're still probably looking at
It's got to be high
100
nine.
million or more.
It's got to be high nine figures.
Combined.
Everyone, yeah, definitely. But I mean, I'm saying Pattern's $1 billion, and then everybody else combined is probably like $500 million. I mean, I have no idea, but that's probably
Less than Pattern, I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot of sellers there who are at least doing, like, I would say the low average is probably $1 million, multi-million a year. And then you've got a few players who are definitely doing 10 figures and probably a couple people there who are also doing 9 figures. So it's like, just saying that, like, as I'm thinking through who I know was there last year, it's like you're brushing shoulders with some real killers.
Yep. And the thing too, what surprised me is that I think last year they did the people who put on Sellers United, they polled the attendees to see everybody's experience level. And what shocked me is there's actually I think it was like 30% of people who attended actually were new to selling online. They either hadn't started yet or they had just started recently. So this is to say that if you're like, you might hear this and be intimidated and think, oh, well, it's not quite, I'm not at that level yet, and it's probably not worth it for me because I'm not advanced. It's still worth it, even if you're new or haven't even started yet. I mean, my session alone, I'm going to be covering Wholesale 101. So my presentation is going to be pretty base level. And even if you're new, there's going to be a lot of people where you're in the same boat. So don't shy away just because you might be a newer seller.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You guys got any thoughts on Sellers United?
We're gonna be there. I'm gonna try and plan a meetup again and see if
we're gonna be squad deep.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Get everybody together. We're gonna have a bunch of people. I think Jonah's speaking there as well. We were talking about it yesterday at the game. So he's getting that set up. And yeah, we'll have a bunch of people from the network and do like a dinner. I went last year. It was my first year there. And we're in New Jersey, and then you just take an Uber through the like tunnel or whatever to go to New York City. And then I just went and explored New York City. It was so nice. Yeah. Go to the restaurants and stuff.
Keith, you making it out?
Yeah, 99% chance. Haven't booked anything, but I do want to go.
Solid.
I think my number one goal there would be just like 3 to 5 very high level takeaways, like tactical knowledge.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm expecting. And I hope to really learn like some useful stuff out there.
Be good.
Solid. All right, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. If you're on Spotify, follow the podcast, like the episode. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like the episode, and we will catch you on the next one.